We're joined by Kelly Tenkely, currently teaching 3rd through 5th grade technology skills in Colorado, where she also serves as a technology integration specialist and instructional coach for elementary teachers. You should follow her blog. It's extremely cool, ilearntechnology.com, because, of course, I follow it. And she's an extremely cool teacher. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting and inviting me to join.
Well, you bet. It's always fun to get to talk with other geeky people and not have to qualify that with, I'm not normally this geeky, but...
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, one of the things that you're currently geeked about, I know because I've followed your blog and we talked about it, is secretbuilders.com, which is a free virtual world for children 5 to 14. Can you tell everybody really what it is?
Sure. I am geeked out about Secret Builders, and you can tell that because there have been multiple blog posts. That's always a good indicator of how excited I am about it. What I really think is neat about Secret Builders, it's a virtual world, but it goes beyond just the play of most virtual worlds. And it actually teaches students about history and historical figures and literary figures.
Wow.
And it does that through interaction. Kids can actually interact with the historical figure in this virtual world and learn about them.
Who are some of those figures?
Oh, it's got everybody from Jane Austen to Alexander Graham Bell to Confucius to Mozart and Isaac Newton, Thomas Edison,
very cool.
Albert Einstein.
Well, very
it really
cool.
Runs the gamut, and it's amazing. They keep adding new characters each day. They can also interact with fictional literary characters like Alice in Wonderland.
So, how are you using it?
Well, in my classroom, I have a very limited time. I have 35 minutes with the kids once a week, so I didn't really have time to explore Secret Builders with the kids in my classroom. So what I was finding is that the teachers were really struggling finding something to help the kids connect with history, because in the textbooks it's a lot of names and dates and places, and they really have no way of connecting that to their personal lives. So they would memorize the names, dates, and places, take the test, and then know nothing about history.
Right,
so
no interaction.
We were looking for a way for kids to get involved in history and for them to really connect with it. And Secret Builders is great because it gives them this virtual world, which all of our kids are so familiar with Club Penguin and some of the other virtual worlds, that they're familiar with that format and that platform. So what's great with Secret Builders is not only is it a virtual world, but it's a rich learning world, because they run into all of these historical characters and literary figures, even fictional literary figures in history. So they get to meet people like Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell and Albert Einstein and Alice in Wonderland and all Mozart and different composers.
So how do they interact with them?
What's great is they can actually visit these historical figures' houses, and when they're at the house, they can do a chat. And what happens is it pops up and it says, what question would you like to ask? And it gives a list of questions that students can choose from. And then, so they ask the question, the historical figure answers the question, and then they get asked a personal question, and they have a list that they can choose from. So, for example, you might ask, or Thomas Edison might ask, do you like to invent things? And the kids can answer yes, no, there's various answers. And they'll answer as the historical figure would answer. So they get a lot of information through that. The characters all have character cards that gives a full profile, so it tells all about them, and it really gives the kids a way to connect personally to those characters. They feel like they're talking to a friend instead of getting this random fact from history that they have no connection with. So it's been a great way for kids to connect.
So Kelly, how would you suggest other teachers use it?
Well, what we did with our students worked out great. And what we had them do is we assigned them some characters that we wanted them to go interview. And our students were studying scientific characters. So we had them go and interview all of the scientific characters. We wanted them to go to their house and do an interview. So each kid ended up asking different questions purely based on their interest, because there's the list to choose from.
Right.
So we had the kids ask and answer questions. They took notes. We told them that they were journalists for the day. So they, put on their journalism hats, took notes. And we had them, there's a newspaper in Secret Builders that students can write articles for. And so we had the kids go ahead and write some articles as newspaper journalists about the historical figure that they interviewed.
Some might call that reflections.
Yes, absolutely. As would I. But yeah, it worked out great, and what we found is afterward the kids were really excited about the historical character and wanted to learn more because they felt like they knew them. You know, after they interact with them on Secret Builders, they have that personal connection. They feel like they know them. And the information is great, but it is limited. So the kids wanted to learn more, and the library's right next door. They headed right over and said, you know, what books do you have about Albert Einstein? What books do you know? Which is great whenever kids are asking those questions. As soon as we had Secret Builders in the classroom, the first question was, after the first day we used it, can we play this at home? And you always know you have a home run when they want to do homework at home and don't realize that that's what they're doing.
Then you tricked them.
Yes, we tricked them. Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, I encourage everybody who's listening and watching to check out Kelly's blog. Her homepage is ilearntechnology.com. There's tons of stuff. I follow you, and I'm constantly geeked when I get a new blog post about what you're doing because you're doing some really cool stuff. So thank you very much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.